to peak information. Now, because this app is so rich in features, we didn't want to sit here and go through all of the settings. Instead, we decided to jump straight into routines. That way, as you learn the different routines, you're also learning the features and the different settings that the app provides. That way, you're going to be able to immediately start performing and utilizing Chronos. Then, at the end, we have a settings reference guide for you so that you can very quickly learn, or maybe we should say, refresh what you already know. Then, because you already know the different tricks that you can do, watching those settings will open up your mind even more to the possibilities that Chronoforce Pro has to offer you. I do want to mention this is available for both iOS and Android devices. And for brevity, to make it a little bit shorter, we may call the trick Chronos rather than Chronoforce Pro. We will also go through some of the crediting at the end, so make sure you stick around for that. But without any further ado, let's get into Chronoforce Pro. I know you guys are eager to start learning and performing with Chronos, but there is one little tiny thing we have to go over. That way you know how to use the app. I'm already inside of Chronos. All you have to remember is that to access any of the menus, which are actually right underneath those buttons, that world clock, alarm, stopwatch, timer, all you have to do is triple tap on them. The world clock is actually going to open up your settings. And the top 3 sections you can choose on the top one, English, or any other language. Right now, I think we have around 8 or 10 languages available. And then, however you want your seconds to be divided from the milliseconds, you can either choose a dot here in the US or a comma pretty much anywhere else in the world. So I'm going to use a dot because we're in the US. And then underneath, you can also choose which device you have. I have iOS 13 selected, but you can also choose Android, Samsung, or the Android dark mode. I'm going to go with the iOS, and then by clicking the little X at the top, we can exit the settings. But what if you have a Samsung phone? In order to get back into the settings app, it's going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to choose Samsung, and as you can see now at the top right corner of my phone, I have 3 dots. It is those 3 dots, when you triple tap them, that will bring you back into the settings. So now that you know that little tiny piece of information, we can start learning some routines with Chronos. We're going to start with a card at any number that you can start doing right away. George!
What up, Javi?
I'm doing great. Good to have you here. Can you do me a favor? Can you shuffle those?
Shuffle any way I want.
Any way you want. And as you do this, what I want you to do, how good is your intuition, by the way?
Halfway decent.
Halfway decent? Okay. So would you be able to just know, can you spread the cards here? Would you be able to know what card that is?
It's not marked, so 3 of clubs.
3 of clubs. If that's the 3 of clubs, that's it. We finish. Okay, it's like you said, it's half right? It's like halfway there. Okay, so it's super close actually. Technically, I would say it's like 99% there.
Like,
so okay, so
I don't even need to check anymore.
We don't. That's it. That's it. Here's what we'll do. Look, I'm gonna have you pick any card. There's no way you could know which card you're taking, right?
I'll take the force card.
Okay, and you can show the camera if you want. And then here's what we'll do. Go ahead and place that card back. Now, doesn't matter. You put it back?
Yeah.
It's somewhere in here?
It's somewhere in there.
Okay, this is what's going to happen. We're going to give the cards a little, it doesn't really matter where that card is because you have no idea where it is, right?
Yep.
And that is key. So you know the card, you just don't know where it is. We're going to try to see if we can use your intuition here with my, and let's open it up right there, with my little timer.
Okay.
Okay? Because if I press there and I stop, that's 83. Well, I don't even have 83 cards in the deck, so we would have to stop maybe there. And that would be 42. 1 plus 41 would be 42. Yeah. But the idea is I'm just going to let it run. You just have one chance at this. So whenever you feel the moment is right, you can, yes. Whenever you feel the moment is right, press it. Just trust your intuition.
Ooh, it's a lot of tension now.
There. What's the millisecond?
13.
13. This is what we're going to do. You're going to take, now if you had gone one more or one less, it would have been a completely different millisecond, right?
Yeah.
I want you to take the cards. I don't want to touch them. Take the cards and deal 12 cards. Put the 13th card aside. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Put it right here. Had it been, have you clicked it a little bit quicker, one of these would have happened. Is your card here?
No.
No, a little bit more, one of those would have been it.
No.
Is your card there? No? What was your card?
Ace of spades.
Turn it over. How's your intuition? Oh, your intuition is perfect. We're going to take a look at the routine you just saw. Now, this is a very simple, easy to do card at any number. If you like this routine, make sure you check out the one we're going to teach later, which is going to be a little bit more complicated, but at the same time, slightly more fooling. Now, we're going to go over the settings that you're going to need in order to perform this routine. And it's very simple. All you want to do is open up your Chronos app, and we're going to go into the settings by triple tapping the world clock right there. Now, we're going to make sure that right where it says for manual input, in that section, it says force after 3, and then we want to make sure that we have the seconds selected. As you can see, we can force it on a stop, number of stops, number of resets, or number of laps. We want the force to happen after 3 seconds. Then, right underneath, for manual input total mode, you want to make sure that you have force on stop selected and then keep force. You'll see what that keep force does in this routine. So we're now going to go back, and in order to access the manual input section of Chronos, you're just going to triple tap the alarm clock. And you'll see that you now have Chronos asking you to input a value. That is technically the number that you're going to be forcing. So in the case of this routine, I chose 13. I'm going to tell you everything that happened in the routine that you just saw, and then I'm going to give you another option in which you can perform this same trick. So notice that I have the 13 on there. If I were to click on total, nothing happens, but that's because I haven't completely inputted the value. As you can see, we actually have to press enter to let Chronos know that we want to use that 13. Once you see the 13 underneath, now Chronos knows that, okay, this is the number that I'm going to be forcing. Then is going to ask you, okay, how do you want me to force that 13? You can force it with the milliseconds, so it doesn't matter what the second actually is. It's always going to force the millisecond to be 13, or you can choose the total, which is what I had selected for this routine. Then I'm going to show you what went wrong and how we can avoid that from happening. The FT technically stands for full total, and that's going to allow you to force the actual seconds and the milliseconds, but I think we're getting a little bit too ahead of ourselves. We're just going to stick with the total, which is the green button right there. So we have 13 total, and now you'll see that immediately it goes back into your stopwatch phase. So once you have this ready, what I like to do is actually turn the phone off, put it in my pocket so that it's ready to go. We're going to leave it on since we're doing a screen recording. And then the card section is incredibly easy to do. You can have your spectators shuffle the cards as much as they want. And when you give them the option to pick a card, what you're actually doing is counting 12 cards. And we're counting 12 because when they put their card back below the 12 cards, it's going to be at position 13. So as we have the spectator pick a card, I'm counting 2, 3, 2, 3, and then 2. And then now I know that I have 12 cards here. I keep a break with my index finger as I continue to spread. Really, I have access to all of those cards right there. They can take any card they want. If they take one from the top section, so now you know that you have 11 cards here, just take another one from the deck, and then it's back to 12, okay? So once you have this ready, you can close it up, and then you start spreading the cards, and you get to your break so they put their card back. They're actually putting it back at position 13. You continue to spread, and now here you can do a false shuffle if you want, or you can just shuffle the bottom section of the deck because we know that we're leaving those 13 cards perfectly on top. Then it's as simple as having your spectators press start, and notice that is not really forcing right now 13. Because we chose total mode, what Chronos is going to do, it's going to add the 1 plus the 27, which is seconds plus milliseconds. So this would technically be 28. But because we had the force after 3 seconds selected, all of these numbers are actually happening. So Chronos is not going to force until after 3 seconds, which is what we set on the settings. But if you put any other settings, that's when the force is going to start to take place. In our case, we're going to let it go after the 3 seconds, and you'll see that if I stop it, now if we add 5 plus 8 is going to equal 13. If I do it again, and then I stop it, is going to be 6 plus 7. Once again, it equals 13. So at this point, you can actually give them the option to, do you want to stick here, or you want to move on, or you want to try it again. So let's say they want to try it again, and they stop here. Once again, 8 plus 5 equals 13. Once they're happy with the number where they stopped, you ask them, okay, go ahead, add them together. So 8 plus 5 equals 13. They'll take the deck, they'll count to 13, which is, I believe, somewhere here. I don't know, it's not important. The point is the card will actually be there. Now, what happened during the routine that we did here is the number actually went past 13. So if the initial second goes above your force number, in our case 13, the app is going to use a fail-safe mechanism, which we're going to take a look right now. So as you can see, once it passes the 13, it would technically be impossible for the addition to add up to 13. It's always going to be above it, which is why the app will now force just the milliseconds on 13. And the reason it's doing that is because we left that keep force on. So it's always going to force that number. So if I stop here and I start it again, you'll see that once again, our milliseconds is 13. Now, during the routine, I didn't realize that we were passing over that number, which is why we got the force only in the milliseconds. If you were to watch the routine back, you'll see that I actually have him add up the seconds with the milliseconds, but this is because I was expecting to have to do that also at the end. If I could go back in time, I wouldn't make a note to add the seconds with the milliseconds. So instead of, we're gonna open it up, put the 13, enter it, click on total, I wouldn't make a note of this. I wouldn't say, look, we get this, 1 plus 55 is 56. I wouldn't say that. I would just leave it vague. That way, when they go into the 3, they can stop. I would tell them, are you happy with that, or do you want to go a little more? Then they're not going to be adding 3 plus 10. So it's okay to then go again and then have 5, 8. Are you happy with this, or would you like to try it again? Now, once they're happy with their number, let's say they're happy here, 6 plus 7 equals 13. Now we tell them that there's no way you could have known how many seconds they were going to stop on. There's no way I could have known how many milliseconds you were going to stop on. So let's go ahead, add them together. We'll use that number. That's what your intuition told you to press stop and select that. Go ahead, count down to those cards, and then their selection is going to be there. Once again, this is the manual input. It's going to allow you to force any number whatsoever that you want very, very quickly on the fly.
If you wouldn't mind just helping me out for 2 seconds. Do you have the pencil?
Yeah.
And here.
I'm just going to press start there, and we'll use the decimal that it stops at. So could you pause somewhere? So press stop whenever you want. 12. Okay, could you mark 12 for me? This is the way to ensure fate is on your side. And could you press start and stop? 75.
There's no step on your stairs.
Oh, well, if we get a number that we can't do it, we'll just redo it. And can you do it again?
That's my birthday.
20. December 26th?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's my birthday.
So this is a sign that something's happening. This is a sign that something good is happening. Let's try this. Again. 67. Oh, one more. 43. Okay, so let's see. 12, right? Yeah. 20, 26, 40.
No, wait a minute. Wait, are you serious?
You did it! You did, so this is
Bro, every number. No, you playing. Get up out of here. You playing.
This is the one I filmed.
Dude.
Oh, yeah, exactly the same. Oh, so yeah, we need to buy more.
We need to
Let's
buy
get
more.
more. Let's get
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
Let's get more. Can we get more of these, please?
Yeah, I'm about to buy this one too.
Oh,
Wait, are you serious?
I'll buy 5
Let
more.
me
I'll
take
buy
it.
5 more.
So what happened is he just had me pick the numbers based off his phone. So he was running the stop clock, and every one that I picked is the same f***ing numbers, bro.
Oh.
I don't know. It's some kind of game. Are you like a psychic or something?
This guy. That's why we need more.
I love the Lord. Come on, let me take care real quick and down.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, bro, that's sick. Look, I didn't see none of these numbers. He just turned these over, and it's the same exact numbers. I swear to God. Bro, I swear to God.
I believe you.
And I love Jesus with every piece of me. I don't believe in anything other than the Lord.
I believe you.
Bro, okay, this is weird.
You just saw the lottery prediction trick, and I think you're going to be surprised at how incredibly easy this trick it is to perform. We're now going to be going into how to create a preset inside of your Chronos. So the first thing you want to do is, of course, open up your Chronos app. Once you're inside, we're going to go into the world clock, which is going to go into our settings, and we want to make sure we have force after 3 seconds selected, and we are going to be good. So now that we go back, the way in which you access your preset section in Chronos is by triple tapping the stopwatch. So if we triple tap there, you'll see that we have reoccurrence, normal mode, and then new preset right on top. We're going to take a look at reoccurrence and normal mode later on in this video. For now, we're just going to create a new preset. We're going to name it lottery prediction, and underneath you have whether you want to have the force happen with the milliseconds, the total, or full time. For this trick, I prefer to use the milliseconds, and we're now going to go into the value, and this is where you're going to now input the actual numbers that you selected on your lottery ticket. To make it super easy for us to follow and understand, my first number is going to be 11. Once you put that first number in, you have to press enter in order to input that number. You then go in and I'm going to do the second number will be 22, third will be 33, so on and so forth. That way we can very easily remember that these are our force numbers. And then 55. So we also have force after 3 selected. We have, and then that's going to be force after 3 seconds, force on stop. We're then going to click on add, and we now have our lottery prediction preset already made. If we take a look at the preset there that is selected, we can forget about the 2 I have on top. You'll see that it tells you the name right on top, on the top left. Underneath, it tells you those numbers that it's going to be forcing. That way you can very quickly check to make sure that you're using the correct preset, and then it's telling you it's going to force after 3 seconds, and the force will happen on the stop. As you can see, right in the top right corner, you have ms. That is to let you know that the force will take place with the milliseconds. But if I click the 3 buttons right there, I can actually edit the preset, and then instead of the milliseconds, let's say I put total. So now when I click save, you'll see that it says TO, letting you know that it's actually going to be forcing the total, which means, friendly reminder, seconds plus milliseconds is going to give you that. So I'm going to revert it back to our milliseconds. That's the one I like to use for this one. And then notice that if I touch any other preset, that preset gets selected. So just make sure you have the preset that you want. In your case, you should probably only have one. And then once I know that's selected, once I exit out, if I don't do anything, if I don't put a manual input or any of the other features, the selected preset will always be the one that gets used. So because we have the force after 3 seconds selected, you'll see that if I click here, it doesn't force the milliseconds, it's just 3. And then here it's 78. Now, the moment I let it go past the 3, that's when the first number will be selected. So what you want to do is have your lottery ticket hidden somewhere. You can put it in an envelope or inside of a card case and hand it to your spectator. Tell them that's going to be for them. You then have them go through, you tell them that you need to have some numbers selected, so you have them press and start. Now, it's completely up to you if you have another ticket next to you so that they fill it out, or if you just have a paper and they write down the actual numbers that they're selecting. If you do the paper, the lottery prediction will be more of a surprise, and they're not really going to know, they're not really going to see it coming. If you do it with the prediction, with the lottery ticket, they may suspect that what you gave them may have been a lottery ticket. So once you just have them press and they stop the first time, in our case, the first one is 11, they will write down 11 or color in the 11. They'll do it again, and you'll see that now it's 22. They do the same thing, and then they will continue to do this until they have all of the numbers. So once we have forced the last number, the trick is pretty much done. You can now reveal it in whichever way you want. Now, we chose to use this lottery prediction trick here at the beginning so you can start to learn how to use presets, and maybe it can open up your mind so that you can create your own routines. Maybe you want to force some sequence of numbers, maybe the serial number of a bill, but I'll leave that completely up to you. We will go over many different ways in which we can use this same principle in later routines in this video. All right, did you want to start with some jumping jacks?
Let's
start with some jumping jacks. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to use our intellect for this. And okay, would you please choose any book at all that you want? Any book.
I think this one.
That one? Yeah. Okay. You don't want it? Okay.
No, I mean because it says staging magic, art of staging magic. So I figured it's appropriate.
It is appropriate, especially for what we're gonna do. But you know that magicians can force stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want you to think like I'm somehow breather crimping the book and you're gonna open it at a specific spot. I wanna make sure that it's completely random. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna pull up my, what is that called? The timer or your stopwatch. Every phone has one. And then what I'm gonna do is whatever milliseconds, nobody can control milliseconds, right? So if I were to try to stop it at a specific number, it would be incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
So for instance, right now, you would be turning to page 75.
Okay.
If we were to stop here, we would be turning to page 58,
yeah.
right? So here's what you're gonna do. I'm not even going to look where you press stop or what number it is that you have. So go ahead, press stop anywhere you want. I mean, on the, of course, on the timer, and stop it. You did. Boom, you stopped it. Do you have a number?
I got a number.
Okay, now here's what I want you to do. Remember this number, that's the page that you're gonna go to, okay? Now, you're going to start it and stop it again, and that new millisecond is going to tell you your the line on that page, okay?
Okay.
And then what is it? I mean, don't tell me.
Okay.
You got it? Well, it could be that it's really small or it's really big. Okay, so go for another one. Go for another one. No worries. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, now that's going to be the line that you're going to go to. So open up you can close the phone. That way you don't think there's some sort of way that I could know. Turn to the page that you're thinking of, okay? And this whole time I'm turned around. And then find the line. Basically, what you're doing now is you're finding your page that you randomly selected, and then you're going to count down to the line number, and then read that line, and then find a word that is a difficult word, like a long word that's pretty tough.
Okay,
Well, you have it. Close the book,
Yeah.
and think about this.
Never gonna get it.
I'm never going to get it? Okay, let's do this right. I want you to imagine the meaning of this word. If it's something you can hold, see it in your hand. If it's too big, see it. And I think you're kind of just agreeing with me, but not really visualizing anything when I say something you can hold or actually grasp, which leads me to believe that this is more of maybe somebody's name or